Welcome to one and all, and welcome to the Young CEO Hub. Today, it's a very special session. If you know about what we'll be discussing, it's a pretty interesting subject. It's a very interesting topic. We'll start the class now. The person in the picture, do you identify her? She is about 3.5 feet tall. And you could see the police officials are guarding her. They are walking along with her, particularly any police officer of the district in which she is holding her job. At the very first glance, they see her. I'm talking about any police officer who is under the rank of SP will stand at the very first glance and they would just salute her. Okay? It is a respect that is being given for who she is, the position she holds. Can you guess who she is or what position she holds?
She like it's related to the district, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Is it like she like a collector?
We will know soon. So it's a good guess actually. So I'm going to give you a riddle here. In India, this person, they have the authority to stop the chief minister of the state not to leave the room. With one signature, they can stop a billionaire's construction project. Not just that, even the prime minister himself have to come face this person for official work. This person is not a judge. The position he or she holds is not a police officer, not a politician. I'm not just talking about her. I'm talking about a person who holds a similar position. Who's that? What is the job or what is the job title? Any guess?
President?
Not the president.
Governor?
An IAS officer?
Yes, right? An IAS officer. Who all have visited the Rashtrapati Bhavan in Delhi? Anybody? Have you heard of the terminology district magistrate ever? So the district magistrate is also an IAS officer or a collector. You can keep your mics on and tell me, what do you know about an IAS officer? When it comes to when you hear an IAS, Indian Administrative Service, that's the full form of IAS. When you hear IAS or IAS officer, what comes to your mind? What do you know about an IAS officer?
To become an IAS officer, you have to pass an exam called UPSC.
Very good.
Which has parts. It first starts with prelims and then mains and finally the interview.
Anything else you know of? We know very little, right? Have you ever considered to or thought of, I wanted to write this examination, I want to give it a try? Have you ever thought of it? No? Probably after this session, you may think, why not I give a chance? Because this is very, very inspiring. And we will learn about what they are. So to know what they are, we'll start with how it all began. In 1947, we know that the British left India. They ruled India for about 200 years. And they used a system called the Indian Civil Service. That is what they used to call it. And this Indian Civil Service people, they were the group of administrators who ran the entire country. When India became free, the founders of India, that is probably it might be the politicians or the people, the leadership, they faced a massive problem. You know what? How are we going to run the hospitals? How are we going to run the court? Who is going to manage the roads? Who is going to manage the villages? India is a huge country. All right. How are we going to manage? So there was a crisis. And exactly at that time, then Home Minister of India, you know who is the first Home Minister of India? Any idea? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. They erected a huge statue in India. Do you remember? Recently, I think it's the world's tallest statue. He had a brilliant idea. You know what he said? Let's keep the system. That is the Indian Civil Service. He said, let's retain that system. Let's not, dissolve it. And the idea what he gave was that let's pick the most smartest people in India, the most devoted people in India, and we will make them to write the toughest examination in the entire world. And then out of the people whom we are selecting, we will give them the tools and all the necessary power to run the country. So this examination, UPSC, Civil Service Examination, once you clear it, and after the interview also you clear it, you become part of the most elite administrative service in India, which is the IAS. Okay? And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he used to call this the steel frame of India. This IAS, this Indian Administrative Service. Now, just to give you an idea about the evolution, we can see that in 1858, okay, the British Civil Service has been created, and 1946, Patel is proposing to create, continue or keep the system, and in 47, the IAS is officially formed, and today we have about 5,000 officers running the world's largest democracy. And this is what Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel said. IAS is a steel frame of India. It is this service that holds India together. Remove it and see nothing but a picture of chaos. All right. So they are the system. They are the very framework in which our dear country is being to run or move forward. Okay. So to understand further, let's look at how does a day in an IAS officer's life look like. You would like to know? No, we all would like to know, right? What do they do? What happens in an IAS officer's life? Let's look at some aspects. So in India, we have about 28 states, 8 union territories. Have you heard of the term called mayor? A mayor handles a city. The IAS officer, district magistrate is one and the same in the sense an IAS officer becomes the district magistrate. Now, so the IAS officer or the district magistrate handles the entire district. Since India is huge, India is so huge, what they did, they divided it into states. According to the language, we have around 28 states, and every state is divided into multiple districts. For example, if you look at Tamil Nadu, it's about 38 districts. So every district has an IAS. So now, look at one district. The mayor of a city handles one city. He basically handles the municipality, but the district magistrate runs a district which is equal to 10 to 20 cities altogether, right? So look at the canvas. Look at how large it is. Moving on. Okay. We are familiar with who a school principal is, right? The power of a school principal. Now, when you look at an IAS officer, within the district, there may be more than 1,000 plus schools. Some districts have 1,000 plus schools. Look at the kind of responsibility he shares. He has a control over 1,000 plus schools. Now, not just that, you are familiar with DSP rank or a police superintendent. Now, when it comes to police, the district magistrate oversees the law and order of the district. And the district magistrate can direct the superintendent of the police, the SP, in administrative matters. Now, look at this beautiful picture. These two people standing opposite. It's a heartwarming picture of IPS police officer. The male in the picture, he's an IPS police officer. His name is N. Venkateshwaralu. He is the deputy director of Telangana State Police Academy. And you know who he is saluting to? Any guess?
IAS officer.
An IAS officer who is his own daughter. So that's the power. Okay.
So what's the difference between IPS and IAS?
It all comes under the Indian service. Police, when you say IPS is Indian Police Service, where you could get into the rank of DG, superintendent of police. In that category, you could, from the IAS, from the IPS, you actually are part of the police department and you honor those positions, as I said, right? Whereas in the administrative service, when you come to the administrative service, you become a collector, you become a deputy collector, you become a district magistrate, you can go up to the position of cabinet secretary, which we will come to. I will be showing you. All right. So the lady in the picture is Uma. Okay. Her name is Uma. And just look at the kind of power she holds. Her own father, who is a senior IPS officer, you could see him saluting her. All right. So that's a protocol, right? So when you see, look at a senior officer, you basically salute them. Now, moving on, emergency manager. So when there is a flood, when there is a cyclone, okay, the commander and the chief under the district magistrate, so let's imagine there is a flood. Now, under the Disaster Management Act, there is an act called the Disaster Management Act 2005. Okay, it's a law that has been passed by the Indian Parliament. You know what it says? When there is a disaster, immediately the collector or the district magistrate automatically gains the power to manage the entire issue. All right. So basically, he becomes the commander in chief when there is a cyclone, when there's an earthquake, when there is a flood. Whoever is the district magistrate, he becomes the commander in chief. So he comes forward, he directs the whole thing, he manages the whole show. All right. Moving on to answer one of the questions you asked. So, as an IAS officer, a senior IAS officer, you could even become the cabinet secretary. Okay. So when I say cabinet secretary, you could look at ministers, right? The ministers, the central ministers, state ministers. Ministers may change when there is election. A particular party come to power, the ministers would change, but the cabinet secretary stays. He runs everything behind the scene. You know how powerful they are? Okay, they are the most closest civil servants to the prime minister himself. Okay, arguably they can influence everyday, day-to-day governance. So the gentleman you see here is Mr. T.V. Somanathan, okay, who has been the Cabinet Secretary of India since 2024. He served as a Finance Secretary of India. He served as an Additional Secretary, Joint Secretary in the Prime Minister's office. He also worked as a Director at the World Bank Group, Washington. So look at the kind of positions they hold. Right? Moving on, let's try to understand how powerful these people are. What kind of power? Ultimately, it comes to that, right? What can you actually do, right? How powerful they are. Let's try to understand that. Let me give you now, when I say powerful, I want to show you real life stuff. Like I'm going to show you some situations where they really operated the power, right? Now, you could see this image. The image tells everything. So as a politician, including the Prime Minister of India, to file their nomination to contest in an election, they have to physically, they have to be present in front of the returning officer. And most of the time, this returning officer is an IAS officer. So this image you see here, where our Prime Minister Narendra Modi holding his both hands together with respect, okay, presenting his nomination to an IAS officer. This is an image clicked in 2014 during the Lok Sabha elections. Okay. And as he filed his nomination from Varanasi constituency, he stood in line in the collectorate, in the IAS district office. He stood in the line and he waited for his turn. He handed over his nomination to the district magistrate. And the district magistrate, you know what he does? He looks at every single page. And if he finds the paper is not okay, the paperwork is not good, he can even reject the nomination. Isn't that power? That's real power, right? Let's look at another occasion, something more relevant. Imagine you had a school playground, a playground that is 100 acres. So 100 acres is roughly around some 75 football field. So look at how big it is. This big landmass is covered by garbage. Have you been to India someplace where they just put all the garbage and they burn the garbage and the entire place just stinks? Have you been? Even here when you cross from Sharjah to Dubai, there is a big mountain there of, a heap of, all the garbage. You could actually get the stench from, a kilometer away. So there used to be a place where they used to burn the garbage. This I'm referring to, it was in Indore in 2018. And what the contractors, they used to do, they used to spend a lot of money to clear this garbage. And can you guess how much they spent? They spent about 60 crore rupees and nothing was cleared. And then an IAS officer called Ashish Singh. So he takes his position, I think in 2018, he comes into this district and he notices this. And you know what he did? He did not hire any contractor. He rented the machines by himself and he put his own municipal staff to work. And they worked in two shifts every day. And they finished the entire job in 6 months. And you know what? At a very, very small cost. Now, the land garbage, the entire place was stinking and it was, absolute disaster because everybody who were living around then, they were all struggling. Now this place, it would not look anything like what it was. He completely changed it. And you know what they're planning to do now? After clearing it, they are now selling it. It's going to become a golf course. They're going to use it as a forest. So he basically turned the entire toxic wasteland into a prime urban property. You know how much he spent? Just 10 crore rupees. See, when an IAS officer, when he takes control, direct control, and he refused to accept what the system says, and see what he could do. Moving on, another story, right? So a district magistrate, as a district magistrate, you have the right to conduct inspections. They can actually do surprise inspections at any government institution within the district. It may be a hospital, school, jail, ration shop, police station, without prior notice. Now, the staffs cannot deny entry. That's the power of a district magistrate. I would like to tell you the story of IAS officer Durga Shakti Nagpal. Now, she is from the Uttar Pradesh. Okay, 13. She conducted a surprise raid on illegal sand mining operations. Okay, and she ordered the demolition of an illegally constructed wall. Okay, and even though what they did, see, actually, I assume the site she went was actually a part of a political party and the politician owned that property. So he didn't want her to do it. And they actually intervened. They told her not to interfere. They told her, don't get into our business. But she persisted. She continued to do what she was doing. But she was briefly suspended under political pressure. Okay, look at how much pressure they would have put on her. But you know what? She was brought in again because there was a national uproar. Okay, and her case become a symbol of IAS courage. So it's actually a motivational factor for most of these people, and they may be under pressure. They may be having a lot of struggles because there are a lot of people who wants to make money. They are not there to really serve the nation. But when you have the motive to serve the nation, you may have these challenges. Right? Moving on, disaster management. How many of you have watched this film 2018? There's a film called 2018 that released about the Kerala floods. So if you watched it, you could know what happens in that movie. There's the IAS officer that we mentioned here is, I think, Abhijit Sinha. So he was of the Ernakulam district and he personally managed the entire flood control operations. He worked almost continuously, non-stop, directing the entire team, thousands of volunteers. And his work is still spoken about. Even if you look at the movie, you could see a lot of his work that is being shared in that story. All right. So once selected, to answer your question, once selected into the IAS, you cannot be fired by a politician. You cannot be fired because you belong to the All Indian Service, which means your appointment, transfer and removal can ultimately only directed by one person in India, and that is the President of India. No chief minister, not even prime minister can casually fire an IAS officer. So it is a permanent protection, makes IAS officers uniquely powerful and absolutely independent. I would like to take you through a beautiful story of an IAS hero. His name is Armstrong Pame. So let me give you the background of Armstrong. So he is actually from the constituency of Manipur. All right. He is the first person to be an IAS from his tribe. There is no roads that is connecting his house to his school or hospital or wherever they want to go. All right. Sometimes, not sometimes, every day, can you imagine? If he has to go to the school, he has to walk 30 kilometers. So that is almost impossible. Sometimes it takes him 2 days to reach the school. So he has to stay a night and he needs to travel the next day. So he comes from such a challenging condition. And this man, he was able to build a road, a road that is about 100 kilometers with zero government funding. Have you ever heard of it? With no government's funding, no support from the government, with just the people of his land, poor people, this poor tribal people and himself. They were able to build a road of 100 kilometers. Now you listen to the story, inspiring story of what Armstrong, as a civil servant, what he did for his state and for his people. Now, I am going to give you all a small work. I want you all to take the next 15 and I want you to come up with 2 states. Okay? 2 states. I want you to pick one state which you think is the best state in India. Okay? And I want you to pick another state which you think is not a good state. For some reason, you don't find it good. It can be absolutely based on your research. You will have to give me reasons why you think it is good. You need at least 5 reasons stating why it is good. And I want you to give me 5 reasons for the second state why you think it is not good. So do this exercise. Take the next 15 minutes. Joshua, would you like to start?
So my favorite state and which I think is the best state is Kerala, because in Kerala, there's very high literacy and education compared to other states, and it has a very good healthcare, and it is cleaner and more organized compared to other states. It also has strong social systems.
What do you mean social systems?
More people socializing.
I don't think it's about socializing. What is the state which you think is not good?
It's Bihar.
What are the challenges you think that is Bihar has?
It has very weak infrastructure and stuff, so it's really hard.
What exactly do you mean by weak infrastructure?
It's very little.
Very little infrastructure. Can you give me an example, like comparison between Kerala and Bihar? Like if you say Kerala's infrastructure is better, then how is it different in Bihar? What is missing? Do you have that information?
Not right now, sir.
Probably you need to dig a little more deeper. It's very, I can only see a very surface level feedback. Infrastructure, what else? What else is there is a challenge in Bihar?
So it's mostly affecting people living there. So it has very low average incomes and very few local job opportunities.
Yeah, the income is low and job opportunity is less. Good. What else?
So it's the people in Bihar struggling overall with economically and
okay.
That.
The
most of the people travel outside.
They will have to look for jobs out of the state, right? They have to leave their family. They'll have to stay out. And okay, that's good. Else, you said about the low jobs, less jobs, infrastructure is less. The people are going out. So basically, the jobs and people going out are almost the same. Get me 3 more points. Solid.
Okay, sir.
Sean, what do you have?
Sir, the 2 states that I have is Goa and Uttar Pradesh. The best state is Goa and the worst is Uttar Pradesh. 5 reasons for Goa being the best is because it has the highest per income in India. Per capita income. It is known for its best tourism infrastructure and it has an excellent quality of life and cleanliness. It has strong healthcare and education systems and it is well connected to roads and modern infrastructure. Reasons that Uttar Pradesh is the worst is because it has a high number of crimes reported in India. It has a massive overpopulation which is taking all the resources and they have extremely poor healthcare and sanitation and there is corruption at every level of the government and huge unemployment and widespread poverty.
And you know what is the population of Goa? 1.46 million. Yeah. Uttar Pradesh is around 248 million. So there's a huge difference in terms of land area also. So since the population is less, you would definitely find them going up in the numbers in terms of the job, because only less people needs to be employed. Even in government sectors, in every sectors, there will be enough jobs, and even you have private also there, and there are a lot of resources. So definitely that is one thing. And yeah, the population is pretty high, and so there is definitely a challenge in terms of food. You need to bring the food to the table. Yeah, that's a challenge. Less jobs. So there is definitely the crime rate will go high when there is so much of population and the people are malnourished. So all that is definitely a challenge. Vamika, how about you?
Yeah, sir. I have Maharashtra and Bihar.
Can you give me your reasons?
So I think that Maharashtra would be really good state because of how it contributes to over 15% of the national like economy rates, and it also has like superior infrastructure with like major ports of India, and they also have like its coastal location which like connects it to the rest of the world.
And Bihar, what is the
The same thing, how it's like overpopulated with a lot of people, and uh like the reason why they have a weak infrastructure is because of like political ignorance. Some of them are like corrupted, and they have like a 25-year corruption rate with like bribery and stuff.
Now we're going to move further. I want you to pick one particular district in each of these states. I want you to pick the best district in Goa. So, for example, Sean was saying Goa, Goa is better. So, which is the exemplary state in Goa? Okay, so that can be the model. I want you to pick one district which can be a model state, and now you go to the other side. For example, if you're going to use Bihar, so pick the district which needs the help. It's like a patient admitted in the hospital. The doctor would, if there is only one doctor, which patient will the doctor go and meet first? Try to attend to the dying patient who's almost going to die. You only have few minutes. So, which are the dying districts? I want you to find out. Like terrible, human life is impossible. Like that. Is there a district like that? Find out. Give enough reasons and find that out. So I want you to have a model state, and I want you to, so not a state, I want you to find out the model district, and I want you to find out the dying district. Two, both of them. Okay. From the states what you have selected. Okay. You could use the next 10 minutes to pick that.